There is a ruthless truth that self-help gurus rarely tell you. You are not lazy. Your brain is actually a perfect biological machine, but it is currently infected with a virus called procrastination. Today, we are not talking about motivation. We are going to re-architect your brain so that self-discipline becomes an automatic habit. Fundamentally, procrastination is not a character flaw. It is a system error. Instead of wasting time explaining complex mathematical equations, you need a more pragmatic weapon. I call it the Peak Razor 5-step protocol. This protocol begins by neutralizing the first enemy, the environment. We call step 1 the friction audit. The golden rule of time management. The human brain is incredibly lazy. It always chooses the path of least resistance. Look around you. If your phone is sitting right next to your computer, the friction to scroll through social media is near zero. That is why you fail. Reverse this process. Increase friction for bad habits and decrease friction for good habits. Example, throw your phone into another room to increase the difficulty of distraction, but have your document file already open on the screen to decrease the difficulty of starting work. Do not use willpower to fight temptation. Use environmental design so that temptation never has a chance to appear. But even with a clean environment, you might still freeze because the workload feels too massive. To solve this fear, activate step 2, micro-slicing technology. You fear procrastination because your brain sees the task, write 50-page report, as a giant lion. The natural reaction is flight or freeze. The technique here is micro-slicing. Do not write learn English on your to-do list. Write open book to page 5. That's it. When the task becomes so stupidly simple that it is impossible to fail, the brain stops being afraid. And the magic of dopamine is this. Once you start, your brain will want to finish it. This is where momentum kicks in. Momentum helps you start, but boredom will stop you halfway. To keep the fire burning, we need step 3, building a dopamine bridge. Do not misunderstand dopamine detox. It is not emotional starvation. It is steering the flow of dopamine to the right place. Combine a must-do with a love-to-do. I usually listen to epic soundtracks or drink my absolute best coffee only when I sit down to work. Over time, your brain learns the association. Sitting at the desk equals pleasure. You're training your brain exactly like Pavlovian conditioning. But life isn't always smooth. There will be terrible days when every plan collapses. That is when you need step 4, the bioshock. Wait, this is the most critical part. There will be moments when you realize you've been doom scrolling for 30 minutes unconsciously. At that moment, self-discipline is dead. You don't need advice. You need a shock to reset the system. Do not beat yourself up. The second you realize you are wasting time, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stand up. Splash cold water on your face or do 5 push-ups immediately. This aggressive physical action cuts the circuit of procrastination in your brain. Don't negotiate. Act like a machine. But what is all this effort for? If you don't have an answer, you will quit early. That is why step 5 is the most important. Legacy architecture. Why do you hate your current work? Because in your brain, the action of typing an email and the dream of becoming a CEO are 2 completely separate islands. Take this ruthless test. Imagine 10 years from now, you meet the peak version of yourself. Will they thank you for your effort today? Or will they look at you with regret because you wasted your potential on a phone screen? To avoid that regret, turn your life into an RPG. That great version of you is the final boss. You need milestones, checkpoints. Finished 1 page? That's a level 1 milestone. Completed a monthly project? That's a level 10 milestone. Every small action you take right now is experience points, or XP, to level up. But here is the key. Don't wait until the end of your life to celebrate. The peak raiser system requires you to set up a reward mechanism for every micro milestone. Focused for 50 minutes? Great. Reward yourself with 10 minutes of music, or simply the pride of crossing it off the list. These small rewards trigger positive dopamine, teaching the brain that effort equals pleasure. At this point, you no longer need willpower to force yourself to work. You become addicted to your own progress. When you clearly see every step moving toward your mission, procrastination becomes absurd. You are no longer a lazy person trying to work. You are an architect building the masterpiece of your life, brick by brick. That is how we redesign the brain, not through pressure, but through vision, strategy, and deserved rewards. Don't just watch this video and nod. Pick one of the 5 steps above and apply it within the next 24 hours. But a perfect machine cannot run if you pour in cheap fuel called motivation. Motivation fluctuates, but consistency builds empires. The video right next to this one will expose the greatest lie about motivation and show you how to keep this machine running forever, even on your worst days. This is Peak Raiser. Let's build productivity systems that win daily.